Right, and we are live with our first video of the week. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon, late afternoon. Yeah, let me know, as always, with these live streams, if you can hear me and you can see me okay. Hopefully you can. And welcome to unboxing video for Inventions, Evolution of Ideas, from designer Vital Lacerda, draft person, artist and graphic designer Sir Ian O'Toole, published by Eagle Gryphon Games. I am going to be starting work tomorrow morning on writing the script for the upcoming how to play video for this game. Don't worry, it's going to take me a couple of months to create. So it's not going to be ready by the end of the week. Yeah, it's going to take me quite a while to create the video for this. But today we're just going to be doing an unboxing. And I haven't actually looked in this yet. So this is all going to be new to me, and I think this is the final version of the game. So if you are a backer of the game, or you are able to get hold of a copy somewhere, then yeah, I think this is what you're going to get. So we've got the usual £5 off voucher from Eagle Gryphon Games. We have a rulebook, and for those people who don't know, I wasn't involved in this rulebook at all. I've stepped away from my rulebook work, and yeah, I haven't been involved in this one at all. So this will be the first time that I'm going to be, yeah, reading this. It will be, I will be honest with you, it will be a little unusual reading one of Vital's rule books, which I haven't even seen before whatsoever, but I've got full confidence in the team that put it together. And yeah, the rule book is actually going to help me learn how to play, but shout out to Scott, who's in the chat now. I did actually learn how to play last Monday. Scott took his afternoon off, and we had Shelley and we had John, and I learned how to play there. So I do know how to play, but of course there was a lot of details that I'm going to need specific for the how to play video. Anyway, let's have a look at the rulebook. And is it a bit dark? No, it's fine. It's fine. Right, so the rulebook. As I say, I've had nothing to do with this rulebook, but it is your usual style of rulebook from Vital. So we have the introduction, we have the fully itemized components list as normal. We have the setup diagram. Yeah, with all of the numbered points, with everything that you need to do on here. So that's all good. Society board setup. So each player is going to have their own player board, we'll see. Then we have a Stone Age, which is the setup round. This is a Civilization style game. For those people who don't know, it's a Civilization style game, but with a big difference. You are not growing your empire, building armies, moving around the world, or anything like that. It's all about the inventions, which is why the game's called Inventions, Evolution of Ideas. So you are a civilization, but you're inventing things and inventing technology, sharing that technology with other nations around the world, that sort of thing. There isn't any war, moving pieces across the board or anything like that. But it starts off in the Stone Age with the setup round. And then we have some key concepts, which I'm not normally a big fan of in rule books, but that's how we go. And then we have the how to play. So yeah, that's all there. It all looks very good. It's all the usual, lots of great examples with images that Vital's really good at doing. So yeah, all of the different actions. And what's really nice, I really like this, is here is the invent action on a page. Next page, here is the innovate action on a page. Here is the share an invention. So keeping one action per page is actually a really good idea because it's just much easier to read. So yeah, there we go. End of the game. Done. 2-player rules. We have a special page for 2-player rules. Most of his games do have that. I don't know what this is. Oh, right. Lots of stuff. This looks like thematic explanations for each of the inventions. It doesn't look like rules text. It looks like extra information and theme about it. And at the back of the rulebook, all very good. We have the icon reference. Right. Enough of the rulebook. Let's have a look at what we've got. As is quite standard with a lot of his games, you've got a player aid. If you are watching this, just keep dropping me a couple of messages in the chat because the chat seems to have gone very quiet, and I'm always worried that the live stream has crashed for some reason. So yeah, just keep popping the odd message in the chat just to let me know that it's still working. And I'll just keep talking in case it has crashed. It is working. Excellent. I mean, what I'm saying is not that riveting. So we have each individual player has their own player aid. which is a book which will contain all of the stuff that you need about the tiles in play, so you're not having to keep going and grabbing the main rulebook. So yeah, each of the tiles is going to be explained, and that's probably it. Yeah, and the private goals, and then some tips. Always really useful when you're playing one of Vittel's games for the first time is these tips. I don't know how long he's been doing it now, but other games have been doing this recently as well, which is how to gain influence, how to gain specialist. So when you're playing the game for the first time and you're like, oh, I need some influence. How do I get influence? Look in your little book and it'll tell you the different ways you can get influence. So that's good. We have that, we have that. We have the solo rules as a separate little mini booklet. So yeah, we got that. Oh, these are card. I don't know what these are. This looks like another form of player aid. Yeah, so this looks like two other player aids which have a summary of the turns on them. I don't know. That's what those are. Right, now we get into the components itself. But I'm going to move these to one side, and we're actually going to get the board out, because I normally like to get the board out at this point. Again, it is your typical Ian O'Toole style. We have nice artwork on the back. I'll try not to break the board, because that will be not good for the how to play video. But there is the back of the board, upside down, obviously. And there is the front of the board. So yes, it's Ian's artwork. I'm actually just going to turn on another light because it does look a little dark over this side of the board. There you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to treat you to a bit of a zoom in. For those people who know Ian's artwork, you will know all of this stuff, but you can see the amount of detail on here. Now, if you're watching this video and you think, oh my God, this looks really scary. This is so many icons. Let me tell you that although I am used to Vittel's games, I was taught how to play this game last week by Scott, and an hour and a half in to the game, and we were kind of learning as we were playing, all of this made total sense. So it might look like a lot of icons, but it was all very, very clear. And if we just scroll down here, these are the actions that you're going to be doing in the game, and these are basically the steps that you do when you do that action. And again, once you've done each of these actions, maybe once or twice, you will learn what these mean, and then you will just be able to follow this. So that's really good. Over on the right-hand side, we have the map of the world, which is where you are going to be moving your specialists around, and there's going to be seers or sages, and there's going to be scholars. And each of these regions on the board, if we just zoom out, is actually linked with one of these sections. And this is where, let's just turn this sideways, there you go. Your inventions are going to be placed on here, and the inventions are basically tied to that region. So South America here, that's tied to this area, and all of the cards and the counters and stuff will go here. So that's the main game board. Yeah, it does look a bit dark, doesn't it? Right, in terms of the other components, we've got, I've got an upgrade pack. Do I have an upgrade pack? Ooh, apparently I've got an upgrade pack. Right, nice. This is good. Insert guide tells you where everything goes. I got a new game last week as well. I got another new game last week from a totally different publisher, and it didn't have this. And I still, to this day, do not know where things go in the insert. So thank you very much to every publisher who does one of these, because we're not all psychic and we can't all work out where everything goes. We need a guide to tell us. So I showed you earlier on the player aids. The player aids have detailed explanations of what each of these does. Let's do pause punch test. Yep. So these are punching out okay. Now they normally use quite thick cardstock, Eagle Griffin Games. So yeah, be very careful when you're punching these out, but they're punching out okay. So that's those tiles. We'll see in a minute where those tiles go. And we've got these. These are milestones. And these milestones are going to be going on the left-hand side of the board. I'm not quite sure how. I understand how these work from a rules point of view, but I'm trying to understand how these work. I don't think I'm going to be able to explain how these work from a thematic point of view. But milestones, one of the things that I really love about this game is that it fixes one of the big problems that I have with almost every other civilization game that's out there. In that, the way that most civ games do technologies is that I will develop, for example, a certain type of technology. For example, steel. I will learn how to create steel. And in the real world, what happens is at some point later on, everybody in the world then knows how to use steel, because time has passed and that information has basically got around. But in most civilization games, that's not what happens. If you want to learn how to do steel, you've got to do it yourself. Bearing in mind, I've only played half a game of this, but one thing that I really liked about it was the fact that these milestones represent certain key technological improvements, like the ability to smelt iron. And once that technology goes over to this side of the board or off the board, everybody's got it. And it represents the fact that people around the world are doing their own technologies and advancing their own technologies, but eventually these milestones, which are kind of like a higher level version of the technologies, they become public knowledge, so everybody can do them. So I really like that in the game, and as I say, that's a big problem that I have with a lot of other civ games. You'll notice that these had letters on. That's because these are seeded. Things come out in the right order, so you will learn the origin of language. In fact, that's one that everybody starts with because it's an A, so it starts off on the left-hand side of the board, which means every single player in the game can talk to other people. Whereas time travel will come later on. Now, I don't think it's got time travel in it. I think this is a thematic historical game, and I don't quite know how far the technology goes. Let's have a look. Okay, so we go all the way up to F, computers, solar cells, and artificial intelligence, not time travel. Time travel is actually going to be from the expansion, which is going to be coming out next. Oh, I'm kidding. Well, I say I'm kidding. For all I know, Vittel might be working on a time travel expansion. Anyway, that's these. We got some other bits as well. I can't remember what these are, but I'm sure we'll find out later on. Right, let's go into the rest of the box and let's have a look at the insert. So let's take off this lid here. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Right, so this is the insert. Another good thing that Eagle Griffin games do with their inserts, which I believe puts them above lots of other companies that do inserts, is you will notice each player is going to have their own little pot. And that pot, I'm saying this, I haven't tried this yet. I'm hoping, yes, it comes out. So what you do is you take this pot out and you give it to the purple player. There you go. So many inserts for games actually have compartments where you put things in, but they're not separated. So you've got to take the whole thing out anyway, or you reach in and with stubby fingers like that, you can't get at the stuff. Anyway, each individual player is going to have some player components. There's also some extra bits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out and I'm going to show you them later on. So that is the individual player trays. Right. I don't know what this is. Oh no, I do know what this is. This is for the milestones, the new milestones. And whenever you remove one of your milestones from here, you get a new one and it comes in. Yes, so that's what that is. That is for the individual inventions. We'll see the invention cards in a minute. And now I'm going to show you the player boards. So let's go back to this and I'm going to show you the player boards. Again, Ian O'Toole at his best. Here is the player board for the purple player. So this is your, what was it called? Society board. And I don't know if you can see, but it is dual layered. So what's going to happen is that you are going to be placing these hexagons that you are going to be gaining during the game, and you're going to be placing them on here, which represents you building up your society with either economy, wealth, and there's two other ones that I can't remember what they're called. Let's say culture. It's probably not culture. It might be. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to be gaining these tiles and you're going to be placing them on your board. As usual, place it on a particular space. It gives you a particular bonus. So that's that. You also have your specialists. Now, your specialists are these little figures here. So what we've got is we've got these people, and there's three types of specialists. There's economy specialists. Here we go. Wealth, economy, culture, and technology. Okay, I was right with culture. So this is technology. This is culture. This is economy. And these are your... I can't remember what these ones are called. But they're wildcards. So one of these can be used as anything else. Although that looks like culture. That's the symbol for culture. So these are scholars. So if it's there, it's a scholar. If it's there, it's an economy specialist. If it's there, it's a... Is that a culture? I don't know. It's a fingerprint. And there is a technology. And you're basically going to be using these. It's one of the currencies in the game. You're going to be using these to either place on the board, or you're going to be exhausting them by moving them down into there. And they will ready at the end of each round. But yeah, scholars, and you can see you have lots and lots of scholars, but you don't start with all of these. You will gain more of them as the game goes on. So traders, artisans, and thinkers are the thematic names for the 3 different types of specialists. So that's that. Now let's have a look at the other player components while we're here, because the core mechanism of the game is action selection. And each player is going to have 3 pillars. Oh, the big pillar is different depending on the player. I just noticed that. So the purple player is going to have the big pillar and the 2 little pillars. Now, again, these do have specific names. I can't remember exactly what they're called. But if we just go back to the action area of the main board. There we go. So we got these 10 actions. And they're divided into 5 groups, with each group having 2 actions. And what's going to happen is in each round of the game, and let's forget setup. Round 1 is actually a special round where every player is going to place their large pillar somewhere on the board. But in every other round of the game, what happens is it's split into 3 turns. On the first turn, you will place one of your little pillars, and you will then choose one of the actions, and you will perform that action. But you cannot choose the same one as your big pillar, and you cannot choose the one that's in the same group. So what's going to happen is on when we go into year 2 or era 2, I could say I'm going to choose that action, and then for my next one, where can I go? I can't go here because I'm already in that group, and I can't go here because I'm already in that group. So let's say I'm going to go there, but then on the third turn you move this. So this will move to, let's say, for example, here. And then at the end of the round, these come off. So your large pillar stays on the board from one round to the next. So yeah, you are going to be playing over 6 eras, which you can see here. If it's going to focus. There you go. Right. So we do the setup. This is the Stone Age. And everybody's going to place their large pillar on the board. And that's effectively the first era. Era 2, 3, 4, and 5 is where this is the 3 turns. So in this turn, everybody's going to place their small pillar. Then everybody places their next small pillar. Then everybody moves their large pillar. Then what happens is you go into the 3rd round, the 4th round, and the 5th round. And the 6th round is special. So effectively, you are only taking, well, apart from that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. You're only going to get 12 turns in the main part of the game. But you will accomplish a lot of things on those turns, because one of the core mechanisms of this game is chaining of actions. Now, chaining of actions is something that Vittel has done in a lot of his other games before. Some people like them, some people aren't too keen on them, but this game has chaining of actions in spades. You will be doing one thing, and that one thing that you do will allow you to do a chain action. In other words, another action, one of the other 10 actions, and then that action might cause you to do another action, and then that action might cause you to do another action. Now, again, I've only played half a game of this, but the chaining of actions doesn't actually happen that much at the start of the game. You might be able to get one chained action. I'll go there and do that, and going there and doing that allows me to do that, right? But later on in the game, once you have really established your board presence and you've got all of these things, then you can do a lot of these chaining of actions, which is why each player has... Now, it's not here. It's not here. I think it might be... Yeah, I don't think it's wooden components. I think it's... or is it? I'm trying to think where the chain action markers are. Let me just have a quick check of the rule book. Oh. Yeah, chain actions. They're little chains. So where are they? Are they still in the box? They're not in the box. Maybe they're underneath this. Okay, let's just take this out. Oh, is there anything underneath this? Oh, there you go. Surprise-tastic. That's a little secret layer. Right. Okay, we've got more stuff. Okay, we're gonna take these out and we'll have a look at these in a minute. Yeah, you didn't think there was enough already, and we got these. These are really nice. So I think that's it. Is there another hidden layer? Nope, no cheesecake. That's such a... I thought I ordered the version with cheesecake. Never mind. Right, so I was saying about these chain actions. What you've got to help you remember which chain actions you've done and how many you can take, the game comes with chain action markers. So what you've got is you have these markers which physically you will put on the board to say, right, I'm doing that action. That action is spawned this one. I'm now going to do that one. And it helps you keep track of, right, I was doing that, now I'm doing this. And you are limited. Although you physically got 3 of them, you cannot have, you don't start the game with 3 of them. On your player board, there is a space for how many you're allowed. And at the start of the game, each player only has 1 chain action per round. And there is something that you do, and I can't quite remember exactly what it is, but it gives you additional chain actions. And as I say, I haven't played a full game of it, but I believe that when you get near the end of the game and you have all of these available to you, your turn can actually be quite involved and you can end up doing a lot of things. Right. We've got, I mean, I could talk for another hour about this game, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to show you now a couple more things before we wrap things up. And the first one I'm going to show you are these player trays. No, these are not player trays. Oh, the influence track determines how many chains you get. Right, great. So these trays, these are basically storage trays. So am I going to be able to get the thing off? I am. So you know these things that we saw earlier on? This is where they live. So you put these in here and you make sure that you put the same ones on top of each other. Is that a different one? Ah, that's a different one. That's the one. There you go. So that's number 1. That's number 2. That's number 3. And basically it's a storage area. So what will happen is you will place this next to the game board so that everybody can see what tiles are available. So yeah, really nice little storage method for that. And the other thing I wanted to show you is the cards, because we haven't seen the cards yet, and there's not actually that many of these cards in the game. There's some extra goals and things like that, but let's see if we can get in. Do we have one of those little plastic lips that I can open it up? We don't. Right. There we go, we're in. So let's zoom in on these and let's show you in a bit more detail. Let's get that out of the way. Right, okay, so I'm going to put these down so that you can see them. So these are some of the technologies in the game, and I really like the fact that Ian O'Toole is able to create cards which are in theme with the actual game itself. These might not look, you know, super amazing, fancy graphic design and everything else, but they feel appropriate to the setting of the game. And what's going to happen over the course of the game, and I haven't actually mentioned this yet, but this is a fundamental part of the game. What you do is getting technologies is invented is a 3-step process. First of all, somebody has to present the idea. I think that's what it's called. I think you present or propose. Let me just have a look. Yeah, it's present. That's it. Presenting an idea. So if I had this card in my hand, for example, I could say, right, I am going to present fermentation. I don't know what this mess is on the table. So I'm going to present this idea. Now, somebody else can come along and invent it, or I could invent it. Just because I've had the idea, I've had an idea, let's ferment things. Somebody else might come along and they might invent it. Now, in order for me to present this idea, I think in order to invent it, you need to have a control of fire. Control of fire is one of the milestones that we mentioned earlier on. And in fact, everybody has this at the start. So anybody can do this once it's been presented. Once you've invented it, you flip it over. So if you thought the front side of the card was a bit bland and without colour, here's the back of the card. And we have this. Now, one of the things in the game which is key is that once a piece of technology, and let's say, for example, let's take some irrigation. So once irrigation has been presented, once it has been invented, somebody else could come along and innovate. Innovating an idea is basically taking an already existing idea that has been invented and making it better, which is a really cool part of the game. And you are not allowed to innovate your own work. So the player interaction in this game is extremely good, and it's forced by the mechanisms of the game because you cannot innovate your own inventions. In other words, I present the idea for irrigation. I could invent that, or another player could invent that, and then a third player comes along and innovates it and makes it better. And then once you've done all of that, in fact, innovating is optional. You do not have to innovate, but once it has been invented, whether it's then been innovated or not innovated, it can then be shared. And once it's shared, that's where other people basically can get access to it and things like that. So let's just go back to the technologies. These are all of the technologies in the game. And as you can see, so the technology name is on the left-hand side. The red writing, remember, that is the milestone that you need to have in order to invent that. So we have all of these, and then later on we get aircraft. You need to have internal combustion for aircraft, automobiles, locomotives. There you go, it's a train game. Penicillin, television, telephone, dynamite. A high-density battery, microscope. Yeah, so it goes all the way up to quantum computing, nice, and a reusable rocket. There we go. Now, these other cards, I can't remember what these are. Are these just starting ones? Or these might be solo cards? Yeah, I'm not sure what these are. But anyway, these are your secret goals. So you've actually got secret goals divided into 3 types. You've got this type with these icons on. You've got this type with these icons on. And you've got this type with these icons on. And the way that the secret goals work in this game is that each player will get, at random, 1 from each type. And you will have these in front of you secretly. And what's going to happen is at the end of the game, you will choose 2 of them and you will score 2 of them. So you don't have to make a decision at the start of the game which ones you want. You can wait till the end of the game and then you will score 2 of these at the end of the game. In other words, it's a Paul-friendly end of game scoring rules, because I absolutely hate games where you are forced to make a decision at the start. Oh, which of these objectives are you going to want to do? It's one of those game mechanisms which I really, really hate. And this game doesn't have it. So thank you very much, Vittel, for doing that. Right, what else have we got? Monica's asking me about a wheel. Oh, the wheel, as in, yes, I'm pretty sure the wheel is in there. That's quite a fundamental technology. There's lots more. There's loads of extra components for this game. I will be sitting down tonight and I will be basically punching this out and putting it all away while watching Oppenheimer. That's what I'm going to be watching tonight. That's quite appropriate, isn't it? I don't know if atomic bomb is in this game as a technology. But yeah, we're all done. Now, as I mentioned, I am going to be starting work on the how to play video for this tomorrow morning, which will start with me opening up a Google Sheet and saying, basically start writing. It's probably going to take me about 2 days to write the script for this. That script will then be sent off to Vittel. It'll be sent off to Scott and Shelley and other people that were involved in this game to check that the script is correct, make sure I've got the rules right, but as long as the rulebook's good, we should be okay. And then I will start the process of filming the how to play video and start editing the how to play video. As I say, it's going to take me a couple of months to create. That doesn't mean that it's 2 months of work, but I have lots and lots of other things going on in my life and lots of other content that I'm producing for the channel. So we will be spending at least 2 days a week working on this over the next couple of months and hopefully get it out as soon as I can. My aim was to get it out before backers get their copy. I don't know when backers are due to get their copy, and I cannot promise that I will have the video done before then. I will try my best, but it's going to be a lot of work and we will see. In terms of a playthrough video, I don't have a playthrough video planned for this yet. No, hang on a minute, I do. Yeah, no, I'm doing a playthrough video for this, but it will be a Patreon only one, and that's going to be happening at the start of April. And the reason why that's going to be a Patreon only one is that that will be my first time actually properly playing the game and properly teaching the game. And that I don't really want, I'm not comfortable having that on the public channel because it will be very rough and I may well make a number of mistakes. And yeah, so that will be a bonus stream for my Patreon supporters sometime around the start of April. I will be doing a playthrough of this on a Sunday afternoon, but once I fully learn the game and I'm fully comfortable with the game, I do plan on doing a proper playthrough video on the channel, public video. But that will be very likely, well, definitely after I've done the how to play video and probably when backers are going to be getting their copies. Right, that's it. We're all done. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Thank you for people in the chat keeping me company. And yeah, if you're a backer of the game, excellent. And I hope the video helps you learn how to play. And if you've got any questions, ask Vittel. I'll post his mobile number in the description of this video. So yeah, if you've got any questions whatsoever, just give Vittel a ring, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever time of day. He's there to answer any questions. I'm only joking in case people think I'm being serious. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you later on in the week for some more videos. Bye-bye.